Welcome to Worship Tutorials. We're going to learn how to play the song Joy to the World, Unspeakable Joy by Chris Tomlin. This song has been out there for a while, I understand, but in my home church last week, first week of December, we sang it. I'm filling in for a friend guest leading at a different church this weekend. It's on the schedule again. This song is still everywhere for good reason. It's awesome. It's December, Christmas songs. I got my Christmas gear on. Got a green jacket, red guitar. Look, red shoes. I'm ready. I'm ready for the season. By the way, Daniel Carson, I'm pretty sure, is the guitar player on this one. He's sort of the OG praise and worship guitar player guy. I'm a huge fan. He has an awesome YouTube channel, actually. He's been Chris Tomlin's guitar player for a long time. I'll link to it below. Daniel, if you happen to see this, I'm a big fan. Let's collaborate, shall we? That would be fun. All right, this song's pretty awesome. Has really great guitar parts. Like I said, still just enormously relevant and being sung all the time in churches every week during December. And if you want to see more resources and a playthrough for this song I did in a rhythm part and an electric part and patches for guitar things, units, line 6 stuff, fractal stuff, whatever you're in the future, whatever exists now. Maybe we have patches for it as well for this song. Links for all that down below. We're going to do this in the original key that Tomlin sings it in. Starts in the key of D, key changes up to E. I'm going to show you how to play it using shapes that you can move around. So it's easy to transpose this down a little bit if you need to. Personally, if I lead this song, C, key changing up to D, it's about as high as I like to go. And I imagine most churches for a male lead would sing it in that key, or maybe key of B, but that's not as easy to play. C to D is a lot cleaner. So let's get into it. I'm going to go section by section, teach you how to play the part, demonstrate the part, talk about tone, and we're going to talk about lead and rhythm parts. So the intro starts with an octave part. Now we're in the key of D here. Typically you would play this octave down here. When I hear octave, that was a nice little note there, pull off note there. That's what I think, but we're doing an upper octave. So it's going to be on the G and the B string, or sorry, the D and the B strings, starting with an A note. Starts on an A. So that is on the 7th fret of the D string and the 10th fret of the B string. So they're 3 frets apart when you do this upper octave thing. And you just keep that spacing and you walk up the scale. So the first note change is 2 frets up. So I'm going to say from where we are on the index finger on the D string. That's the 7th fret to the 9th, to the 12th, to the 14th, to the 16th. All right? Just walks up the scale. I'll play it very slowly for you so you can see how it goes. Remember, 2 frets, 3 frets, 2 frets, 2 frets. That's the easiest way to remember it. Keep this spacing. If you've never played octaves like this before, it's a little more difficult, in my opinion, than these lower octaves. All right, but it's nice because you can poke out above the mix playing these higher notes, okay? So let's do it slow. This is the octave intro turnaround basic lead part throughout the whole song. It goes like this: 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you want to be as clean as you can, playing only those 2 notes. I like to. You can mute like all of the strings above, the D string with your index finger. And then you can just hear the 2. And then just don't play the bottom strings if you're practice on being more accurate. I need to practice on that myself. Okay, so at speed, 128 BPM, sounds like this: 2, 3, 4. Now later on, we're going to play this in the song after we key change, so it's just everything moves up 2 frets. And then we're out of frets on the B string on a Fender 22 fret guitar. If you got yourself something with 24 frets, you got some room to move. You can, all right, you can hit that, or you can just bend if you want to. Not in the song, but it's there if you'd like to do it. All right, tone for this is going to be all the drive, right? This is your big lead sound. I have a dotted eighth note delay and just a plate reverb. It's not like, to me, it doesn't have that huge ambient thing going on because there's a lot of rhythm parts underneath it, so it really just needs to sit right there in the mix. Sounds like this, 2, 3, 4. All right, so playing rhythm underneath that. You can, if you want, just play open. It's just D to G, right? If you want to do something a little different, if you think about this A bar chord shape, like if you move it up, here's a C, here's a D, right? So you're barring on the 7th fret, the D, G, and B strings, 7th fret. That lets us do a lot of minor pentatonic walk up and down things on the B string and the G string. Right, that's just the scale, the pentatonic scale there. So we can form different shapes out of that. So here's this B bar chord, but you can also form it like this. So we've got our index finger on the D, G, B, 7th fret, pinky on the 10th fret on the B and the E string. So really all we need to play though are just the D, G, and the B strings. So 7, 7, 10. That's our D chord. And then to play the G chord, just play this D shape, right, on the 7th and 8th frets. So put your middle finger on the 8th fret of the B string. So remember that's the G. We've taught that before in a lot of videos. But goes D to G. That's it. Now we're going to use this shape type thing, these shapes, to play a lot of stuff rhythm-wise in this song. It's very useful stuff. We're going to come back to it. Basically for the rhythm parts for everything, I'll just say it now, it's just a tube screamer into the amp, or amps in this case, with a quarter note delay and some hall reverb. So when you're playing underneath that lead part, these rhythm parts sound like this, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's move on to the verse. Now in the first verse, it's just one guitar. Call this the lead guitar, was kind of a rhythm part. Again, we're gonna be right here on this one finger D. It's like you would play an A down here on the 7th fret. That's your E. All right, and now we have a lot of things we can do on the B string. We can go from 10 to 8 to 7, and then we can go 9 to 7 on the G string. So, and then we're gonna do a little bit of some stuff here. You can go back 1 fret on the G string, right, to the 6th fret, and right there. So this part is kind of this rhythmic staccato dotted 8th note thing. Okay, so, and there's really no set part that I hear. I do hear a few things melodically that happen. When you get to Let Every Heart, I do hear a little melody thing happening on the B string from 10 to 8 to 7. Let every and prepare. So you're just barring across those strings to form kind of your tonic or the root. Prepare. And then when you get to Let Heaven and Nature Sing, it's the same set of notes, just a different pattern. Heaven and nature sing. So you go 10, 8, 7, 9 on the G string. 8 on the B, 7, 9, and then chords. Back to. All right, so that's basically the rhythm part, or you call it the lead part of the verse. And it sounds like this when you play it tone-wise. We're going dotted eighth note delay, a little bit of drive, kind of your stage 1 drive, plate reverb again. So when you get to this part in the song, here's how it goes, sort of at tempo. It's going to help you to have a click track with this rhythmic thing. At this sort of fast speed, locking into a click helps. I'll do my best here, just kind of playing it out of nowhere. All right, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the second time through, there's another part that happens during that verse. Again, we're going to be back to our basic rhythm tone, and it's just kind of like this driving, hits the root of the note. So when you hit to the chorus, it starts on the D string. Okay, then we're going to go to the open, that was the open D, to the E on the 3rd fret G. Walk up. So 3, 5, 7. Do that again. Back to the 3 heart. So that's 3rd fret on the E to the 5th fret on the heart. And then where you would play the B minor, heaven and nature, 2nd fret of the A string. To open A. And then you do the chords. G to E minor, A, and this is our rhythm, so we're going back to that rhythm thing. So I'll play it at tempo with all the tone in. It sounds like this, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a few more notes about that part. It's nice to palm mute it. Kind of gets that staccato-y thing going. When you go back into this is the turnaround after the second chorus. It just stays on a D. So it doesn't do the G, right? It stays on the D. Because we're going into the joy, unspeakable joy part. So it just sits and builds. All right, so let's talk about the joy, unspeakable joy part. Now the lead part, there's this really cool and really easy part on the B and the E strings. It sounds like this. That's literally it. So we're forming an A chord. Okay, and so what that means is you can, actually the easiest way to do it is just put your middle finger on the 10th fret of the B string to the 10th fret. You're basically forming like a D chord right here on the 9th and 10th frets. That's an A chord. Remember we had our G chord here. It's just up 2 frets, okay? If you want to think about like shapes, that's how I think about it, because then it's easy to move it around. So it's like the suspended D, right? So we're going to go 10th fret on the B to the 10th fret on the E to the 9th fret. 3, 4. 3, 4. Very simple. That's it. Now, at the end of this section, we are doing a key change. So when you get to the key change, never let me go. And then you hit, wow, that's really ringing. Again, so you go to the 12th fret of the E to the 12th fret of the B. He rules the world with truth and grace. Okay, you get the idea. Tone-wise for this, I have like a little bit of modulation. I heard a little something something in this tone, modulation-wise. So I added that in. In the Helix, I'm using retro reel. For the fractal stuff, it'll just be like a chorus, but like low mix. You don't really want it to take over. It just adds a little texture. Like a pretty big tone, not quite as big as the lead part, but like as, maybe stage 2 if you want to think of it that way. And I am doing a stereo delay with dotted eighth note and quarter note. I hear this, like, to me, I hear this kind of spacey. Honestly, he's probably not using this much reverb and delay, but I really like it. And then I have like a big modulated reverb on it, and it sounds like this: 2, 3, 4. That was our key change. Okay, so the rhythm part to play underneath it, we're gonna start on that G shape that we learned. Joy, unspeakable joy. We're going to the D. An overflowing A, well. So we're gonna play that G shape, just up, well. No tongue can tell. Back to G. Stay on the G, joy. Unspeakable to D, joy. Here's that D chord. Rises in my soul. That's the A. Never lets me go. Goes E minor to G. Lets me go. Remember, this is our E minor bar chord. To G. And then key change E. So you can play your E like this. This is the way Bradford taught me to play, and E is the same thing, except you play that note. It's like a power chord E. You can just play an E. Okay? So the rhythm on that goes like this to into the joy, unspeakable joy. 2, 3, 4. That's He Rules the World. Now, basically the parts are the same, you're just in a new key. Now for the lead part, remember you're playing all this stuff here, leady rhythm stuff. That was D, up 2 frets for E. Okay, so for He Rules the World, you're here, just up 2 frets on the 9th fret. Now, what I hear happening in this verse are some of these higher octave parts again. I kind of hear some guitar parts coming in on this one, which would be 9 to 12. But definitely, and wonders of his love. So you can play that. Or wonders of his love. You kind of have some options for things to play in there. You can just cop the melody, or you can kind of... This would be like, if you think where your pinky is, or let's do index finger again. It would be 9, 7, 6, 4... I just kind of like in my mind, I just know the scale, like whether it's 2 or 3 frets apart. That's kind of how I think about it, or 1 fret apart. So it helps to kind of know the notes you're on in the scale and those kind of things. But you just you can walk it around. And then you end on the D to go back, or sorry, you end on the E to go back into the joy, unspeakable joy part. Now there's a rhythm part underneath it, and honestly, what I'm hearing is a lot of the open B and E strings as like a tonic. Let heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature. You're just playing these open chords, and heaven and that's a F sharp minor, and nature sing. So that's kind of what I did for the rhythm part under that. In heaven and nature, the heaven and nature actually starts on the sixth, C sharp minor. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. So I will play both of those kind of parts just to show you what you could do with it. First, the guitar one. Okay, you might have noticed we went to the lead, and it's the same part, just up 2 frets. So you're starting on the 12th to the 11th. Okay, now the other rhythm part under like the verse and then the chorus, if you want, we'll just go right into it. Again, we're just playing these open chords, making sure to emphasize the open B and E strings. Now, in this part of the song, when I hear the rhythm guitar playing under the chorus, I'm hearing these big open chords. This is the biggest part of the song. So you can just play an A, joy, unspeakable joy, E, and overflowing well-being. No tongue can tell. A, whoops, stay on the A, unspeakable joy to E. Rises B in my soul, never F sharp minor to A, and then the outro is just going to be E to A. Okay, and then with the rhythm tone it sounds like this. But that's just basic chords, big rhythm tone. That's how it sounds. So, joy, unspeakable joy. That's how to play 2 different lead and rhythm parts on electric guitar. Easily transposable with the shapes that you have in there. Hopefully this is helpful for you if you are playing this song this year, or, you know, I'm sure this is going to be a staple years down the line. Great song. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Click the bell so you know when we upload new stuff. See you in the next one. Goodbye.